Today is January the 18th, 2021. It is Martin Luther King Jr. Day. This is the Service Hero Show, 365 Days of Awesome. Celebrate success through service. My name is Tamara Hunter, and I am your host. This is the show that shares inspiring stories of those that are inspiring others. So let's do this. Today we have a service hero that you guys are going to have some fun with. And I just absolutely have enjoyed getting to know about Abigail Gazda. Let me tell you, she came to us in a very unique way, and we'll talk about it in a few minutes. However, I did mention on the very beginning of the show that today is a special day and a day that we honor someone that I truly have learned so much from, and I believe the world can continue to learn lessons from, and that is Martin Luther King Jr. I have a little bit of a clip here, just a little thought, and then we're going to have a little discussion, and then we're going to get into the show. So I have this quote, and with your platform and with what it is that my platforms are all about, love seems to be such a huge key. In fact, a book I'm reading of yours right now really talks about that, and you do in just about everything that you are involved in. And here the quote: love is the only force capable of transforming an enemy into a friend. What do you think of when you hear that quote?
Great question, and thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here, and also on Martin Luther King Jr. Day. I think that, I imagine that we'll get into it in the book, but what I teach is that judgment is separation, right? To judge is to separate. And so to separate is what gives us the power to view someone as an enemy, right? And that love would just eliminate that gap, would just close that gap. Because if we really do come from love and we really look at someone as just another human, just another brother or sister, and we don't use what we're thinking of them to distance ourselves from them, then love can turn any enemy into a friend.
I love that. So well said. So well said. I want to recognize those that have joined us right off the bat. We have Helene Wilson. Helene, the first ambassador of the chat within the Chemo Buddies for Life organization and community. Thank you for being here. As always, my dear, thank you for saying hello. And Carol Brown-Berzins, one of our senior ambassadors and this show's production assistant. I'm going to say thank you for all you do, and we are live on the E360 TV platform. Thank you for all that. I want everybody to understand that the E360 TV platform is really a family of amazing programming, and if you haven't gotten your app yet, go get it, and then watch the Service Hero on demand, and then go check out some of the other shows. You'll recognize many of the hosts because many of them have been featured here on the Service Hero Show. Yes, and let's see, we have sound is good. Thank you very much, and amen. Love moves your heart, and it will grow. So, I have a couple of things I want to share before we get too far into our conversation. This is the first one.
Hi, my name is Caroline Brown-Berzin, and I come live to you from Toronto, Canada. This message is for you, Abigail. I've been following you since August of 2020 last year. I got inspired by a podcast that you were on, and listening to your story really touched my heart. So I want to thank you so much for all the stuff that you do in the community and online about gratitude, love, and being there for your community. I also want to thank you for being the service hero you are and coming to the Chemo Buddies community and donating your 2 books, The Alchemizing Judgment. So thank you so much and have a great show.
Hi, I'm Abigail Gazda, and I'm here to tell you that I'm done being anybody but exactly who I am. Over the course of my life, I have worked extremely hard to be someone worth loving. It shaped overachiever, perfectionist, star student, and committed athlete. Ultimately, people pleaser. All these experiences have been fun, memorable, and exciting, but I've noticed a pattern of trying to fit into different molds in order to feel good enough. The harder I've tried, the less comfortable it has gotten. After my divorce in 2016, I was forced to consider who the heck I am again. I noticed how hard I was working in order to seem perfect. I lived to be validated by others, or an award, or a relationship. In my recovery, I have taken on meeting and accepting myself at this new stage in my life. Remnants of this pattern still exist in my growth as a woman and an entrepreneur. I still, to this day, catch myself looking outside of me for who I am and what validates my identity. In all of this trial and error, I'm coming to you today to say that I am done being anybody but who I am. Since my divorce, I have left the corporate world, moved to California, published a book, and became a full-time entrepreneur. As the truest version of me, I come to you as life coach, author, and speaker. I'm here to tell you that in order to have a life you love, you must truly choose to be yourself and create your life out of it. Finding fulfillment lies in acceptance of self. What your life looks like doesn't matter if you are not at peace within. I invite you to your inner peace. It is my job to share that who you are is more important than what you do. If you honor who you are, what you do will be a natural expression of what's in your heart. If you truly listen to what's in your heart, what to do next becomes obvious and inviting. From this, you can create a life pulled by your passions instead of pushed by fears or insecurities.
I love that little clip, and you going back and forth, and and because it really, I don't think there's many of us that have ever sat down at that typewriter or had a big project to do or are about to undergo something, that transformation, that you haven't been in that spot, and you captured it so well. So
I have to acknowledge Quantity Media for capturing that, because we have been in partnership for 5 years now, and he, just being able to share his work too, but the way that he, like you said, just it pulls an emotion out of you that, like, oh, I get that. I know that stumble and then that triumph.
Oh yeah. Well, and which media group is that?
Quantity Media. It's my dear friend Daquan Young. You can find Daquan on Facebook and Quantity Media on YouTube and Instagram. But he is just so phenomenal. And actually, I'm grateful I get the opportunity to share that, because he also created the documentary Alchemizing Judgment, and it goes with this new book. And we're going to be submitting it to film festivals, and it's not in the public yet. We had one private showing so far. So Quantity Media, Daquan Young has really walked with me through this whole journey.
I love it. Now that makes a lot more sense, because I saw that there was reference to the video, and I'm thinking, okay, I've been all over the place. I haven't found it yet. So it's making me feel a little better, because I'm like, I know there's one out there. And and I did see the reference to it.
Yeah. we've been going together for 5 years in that way, working together. And like, he has that footage from my wedding because he did my wedding. Like, that's how long we've been in partnership. And so it's so fun that he can share the whole journey.
I love that. I love that. In fact, I was just speaking about that type of a thing yesterday with some folks. And so Stephen Smith out of Sarasota, Florida, one of the E360 TV hosts also, and has the nonprofit Healing Through Nature. Thank you for being here with us. And let's see, everybody, this is what they do. Party time. Okay, so let's have some fun. All right, so you've got that fun energy about you, and you're working in some really interesting concepts and information, so much so that, well, since we just talked about the video, I have one more to share because it talks about one of the books, and I really want to go into this one.
Hi, sure. I'm Abigail Gazda, ontological life coach, author, and speaker. And today I'm here to share with you my book, Giving Up, the Memoir of a Quitter. It's a self-help book disguised as a memoir, and it goes through the stages of quitterdom required to give up people-pleasing and start living a life that pleases you. And today I'm going to share with you an excerpt from the chapter, My Gift. Becoming myself again proved as exciting as it was scary. I understood that I would not truly be meeting old Abigail. I'm a new person with more experience. There really is no such thing as simply going back. I took responsibility for who I wanted to become. One day, in my life coach training program, I was asked if I was ready to leave that girl behind and become a woman. I stood there, caught off guard. I had never been asked a question like that. I envisioned myself at a fork in the road. I was staring off to my left, down a very predictable path littered with jerseys, trophies, beer bottles, and lined with cute boys. I looked to my right and saw a big brick wall. I had not the slightest idea what Abigail looked like as a woman, but in that moment, I chose the wall. I had no clue what was on the other side of it, but I went sprinting at it full steam ahead, and I tore that damn thing down brick by ever-loving brick. I didn't find woman Abigail. I built her. I used those bricks to build a powerhouse of a woman. I still add bricks to my being, but now I'm the one who gets to say what the floor plan looks like. And that was an excerpt from the chapter, My Gift. To read more, purchase my book at pinapublishing.com, also available on Amazon. To learn more about me, visit abigailgazda.com. Thanks for tuning in, and always, live a life you love.
Love it. Live a life you love. And I love the brick wall, that you built the woman. The imagery is spectacular. I'm thrilled that you did do the reading. I would encourage more people to do something like this because it gives a real idea and flavor of what the book is about. Giving up, and then reverse, giving up. Okay, giving up. You say in the write-up for the book that you share your own breakdowns, breakthroughs, and possibilities in order to empower the reader, and that the memoir is really like a 4-part book to help a reader kind of work through kind of like stripping down and building back up. I mean, let's go into that.
Yes, I'd love to. And the most simply said, like one sentence is, giving up people pleasing in order to create a life that pleases you. And that looks so different for everybody. And so what I really like about this book is that the most ends of most chapters have reflection questions for the reader. So it does kind of act as a workbook for the reader to really journaling prompts to take a look inward. Because I love sharing my names, dates, and places. I love talking about myself. I love sharing, that's fun. And I really like the reader to have the opportunity to look inward, right? It's not all about me. It's about all of us living out our fullest potential. And one of the main reasons I understood that we're not living at our fullest potential is we're people pleasing in some fashion. And so I have us take a look at the different flavors of people pleasing, like always being a yes to everything, not being able to say no, trying to fulfill other people's expectations of us, adopting other people's definition of success. I mean, the examples go on, but this is a really introspective book that creates a lot of breakdowns and breakthroughs, and then opens up the world of possibility for anybody who reads it.
And also, this is clear space. You talk about in this one that when you can break it down and then clean it out, clear that space so that you can then do the breakthroughs and then create your own possibilities and your own pleasing life. I love that. And when did you start all of this? I have to say, I'm a few days older than you are, Winky, and so your wisdom is incredible. And when you're talking about, and it's so cute, the video, when you're talking about the jerseys and the trophies and the beer bottles and the toys and and I'm like, okay, all right, how old are you?
Okay, so I'm 31 now. I'll be 32 next month. And I like to joke that I feel much like a cat who's lived 6 of her 9 lives, because, it was never my goal to be an author. As a youngster, like that was never in my head. And I was an athlete my whole life. I played college basketball. I became a PE and health teacher. And then I started managing gyms. And so, I've really been through a lot of experiences, and I've worked in a lot of networks and communities. And I really feel like, one thing as far as like my age, I like to joke is I don't like to learn the same lesson twice. So I'm a rapid processor. And so I started my coaching journey, my introspective journey right after divorce in 2016. So I've been at this for about 5 years now. And so that in that 5 years time is where being a teacher, I've always had this same heart and this same energy and passion. I refined it, right? I heard, when I discovered coaching, I heard a new conversation in the world, a new language, and that made a whole new world possible for me too.
And that makes total sense to me.
Yeah.
It really does. Because of the fact that with choosing the athletic path and then choosing to be a teacher within it, that I have a lot of admiration for teachers in general. And we were speaking about this before we went live. And when you were studying for your credentials, you went the full way. You went for the K through 12. And then you even got some extra bonus points to go and help with a population that needs positive, amazing role models. And I want to applaud you. It shows your character that you did go and get that certification and that extra, go and do the extra studying so that you could work with the population that what we would call receive IEPs, the individual learning programs or plans. And they are often many of our most gifted, yet sometimes overlooked.
Yes. I think that's wonderful, the way that, because I can tell the way that you're particularly choosing your words, right? And one of the very first things I remember learning when I was studying and becoming a teacher and all the pedagogy and the methodology of all of that is that it's not because I have my degree, my bachelor's in physical education and health with that endorsement in special education, but it's not special education student or the special needs community, right? Like it's the community that has special needs, or it's a student that has special education, right? And so it's the student first, it's the identity first. And I think that that's such a powerful transition because we're able to look at them and identify what their needs are. And just because they're identified as special doesn't make it better, worse, good, right, bad, wrong, or any of that.
Well, I think it translates into what you're doing now, truthfully.
Yeah,
I
totally.
see that in total alignment now. You know, it's like I get you now because of that one piece, actually, because when you start to really see the gifts that, you know, when you may be challenged here, many times you are extraordinary there, you know, and until you get that aha moment. And when you're young, you know, others are helping to guide you for those aha moments. But then when we become adults and we're adulting, and it's like, okay, you know, I went and I did this, I got my degree, I did, you know, now I'm in whatever it may be, and I am not feeling so fulfilled right this minute. And so when I was asking about the type of coaching that you're doing, that makes a lot more sense now, because, and let's dive into that.
Yeah.
On to look. Okay, you say it. I got that part.
I was going to let you go with it. So
thank you. Thank you very much.
Ontological, right? Ontological, and then ontology, which ontology is the study of the nature of being. Right. And so it's really beautiful because I like to, it's simply put, it's not about what you're doing. It's about who you're being that produces the results in your life, right? Like if you are being defeated as you take on a goal or a challenge or a task, it's likely that you're going to have these defeated types of results, right? But if you go into something being empowered and a champion and victorious, like from your heart space, from your head space, then it's likely you're going to produce those types of results. That's the most basic way to lay that out. So ontology is about who and how you're being.
I love that. Okay, I am going to share right now with you, because I don't know that you have a full understanding. In the video that Carol shared with Abigail and thanking her, and I said that it was something really interesting how this all kind of came about, and I met Abigail is because I ended up with 2 books that came in the mail, and I'm like, oh. And with book mail, you don't, you know, you just send the books, that's it. And so I'm like, oh, this is interesting. So I started, you know, reading, and I'm like, oh, I love this. I absolutely love this. So I reached out to her and then found out that you had been working with Carol and that you had donated these for the buddies and for the program. Now I'm going to share a little bit more of what that's about, and so we can discuss it further about all of the being, because guys, you guys hold on to your chairs. This is going to be some fun. We are on Mr. Toad's Wild Ride here today. Here we go. You know, lots of fun. Okay.
Life is so fragile, and we're constantly reminded just how fragile life can be, especially when we or a loved one is told we have cancer. Cancer survivor myself, I can tell you, we still feel very alone in this journey.
There's a study that's been shown that patients who are socially isolated have a worse prognosis, have a worse outcome than patients who are socially interconnected.
Buddies for Life is a non-profit cancer support group for those whose life has been impacted by cancer. We'll match you with the perfect buddy. Humor, hope, heart, and hugs.
Humor, hope, heart, hugs, and a whole lot of love.
We're offering you a free membership, so please sign up today. Share this with your friends and family, and support this community in every way you can. No one should face cancer alone.
I am a Chemo Buddy for life.
We are a Buddies Network.
No one does cancer alone.
Be a buddy.
And we are all here for you as a community of love.
We are Chemo Buddies for life.
And if you've heard 3 words, you have cancer, for yourself or someone else, you belong with us at Chemo Buddies for life.
Healing through connections.
now you understand, and I wanted to share this because we have a lot of buddies that are here right now, and a lot of them do come in and watch, and they know that all roads that I I take care of, all roads lead back to buddies. And
Yes.
Daniela, so glad you're here with us, dear one. And so the being piece of it, the being, and then the verbiage and everything, because every day we gather together in a closed group, our group, and if anybody is having a struggle, all hands on deck. We're there to support, we're there to love, we're there as community, you know, and really learn about frequency, learn about how love is a healing energy, and all of this. And when you tap into the philosophy and study of being, the nature of being, that right there is amazing and powerful and transformative. And the power within us, you being a physical and wellness, you know, teacher, phys ed and health, we are seeing within our own close community now some that even at stage 4 are starting to get results of no evidence of cancer. And what is it that is being done? It's a lot of education. It's a lot of working within yourself and everything. That's what you're talking about, isn't it?
Yes.
Being.
Yes. And you mentioned it just a few times, frequency, right? Is being able to raise your vibe. And I'm a huge believer in metaphysical options too, right? Like that there's chemo and there's all sorts of different options to help and support. And that inner work also does relief and elevation and heal. That mental and emotional healing causes physical healing. So I think that it's such a powerful addition to, you know, Western medicine and all of that too.
I absolutely am in agreement. In fact, our nonprofit doesn't raise any kind of funds for any type of research or anything. In fact, we don't take a stand on it, you know, because some people go with the alternative, some go with traditional, and some, like myself, do adjunctive. I did both, you know, and so whatever is best for you, and that goes along again with that whole being piece, right? And so how you're a coach, and I know that in the book that I'm reading right now, and there is, I believe there's a little clip in regards to this one, isn't there? Let's see, not quite. Okay, I'm looking to see what I've got loaded here, which was so much fun. All right, so in regards to this newest book, you started off saying that this wasn't necessarily your front project. In fact, you said it was like a back burner that was supposed to be way back there.
Yes.
Yeah, it kept showing up. Why?
I don't, well, I want to say I don't know why, but I do know why now that I am on the back end of that project. It's a book that required me to be so bold to write it. And a good example is talking about Western, Eastern, the combinations of medicines we might use to heal and heal the planet and heal humanity too, right? So there's bold statements in this book. And you know, my first book was a memoir, so I'm the professional of being Abigail Gazda. That's easy enough, right? My second book, Talking to the Trees, is a fictional narrative, so there's no too many structured rules around how to write that. But then this book is much more textbook-like. So the full title is Alchemizing Judgment, A Guide Back to Love. So I am claiming to be someone who can guide you back to love, you know, through the process of a book and through just honoring who I know myself to be, not what I know to do, but who I know myself to be as a vessel for love in this world. And so, I mean, it just felt really bold. And I had written the title down over a year prior. And that's when I put it on the back burner. I was like, I'll get around to that one. Like, I know that's
talk about that. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And because I definitely ran up against the who am I?
Right.
Who the heck do I think I am to write something like this or position myself as an authority on this matter, specifically judgment, right? I do write in the book, I said, I'm never, I'm human too. I have had judgments, prejudice. I've had actions that prove that, right? And so and I'll never be rid of that. None of us will. And I say that a lot throughout the book too, is this isn't about ridding judgment. It's about alchemizing. So alchemizing is the concept of basically upcycling it, right? So from a low frequency judgment up and bringing it up. So I definitely, it felt very bold. So I put a few projects in front of it. And then actually driving across the country with Daquan, he was moving out to California, and I'm driving in the middle of nowhere, Nebraska. And I just this divine order is alchemizing judgment first. Because I was writing another book, and I said, I'm like, wait a minute, really? Are you sure about this?
Can we negotiate?
Nope. Just a second time, alchemizing judgment first. And I took a deep breath. I'm like, okay. And for myself, I have learned to honor my internal guidance. And so that's what happened. And that's the way that it went. And it came out in 3 or 4 months.
Wow. I'm looking to see how many pages there are here, because it's actually, it's not.
It's a hefty book.
Yeah, I mean, there are some that it's okay, 3 or 4 months. Yeah, that makes sense. But this one, 275 pages, and and guys, it's not like there's just a lot of lines for you to write in it or anything. It's actual information, really well written. You are a very good writer, I have to say. I really love your imagery. I love your thought process and how you explain it, and it's fun. You also have an element of fun to you, which I love. I love that. So, all right. So you've got this program, and now you've got a movie associated with it too.
Yeah.
How did that come about? Were you doing that at the same time that you're writing it?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. So this project, Daquan and I, it was it's all of our work is very organic. It feels right when it's time. And we had been working together for so long. We actually kind of joked for the first time, we looked at how many gigabytes of video Daquan has for moi.
Yeah.
250. I had to buy that man external hard drive.
Oh yeah.
Because we just have been working together for so long, but it's so beneficial because when you watch this documentary, which it's not out yet, because as I mentioned, we will be submitting it to film festivals, but there's a dual thing occurring. One is my story, my own evolution, because what I didn't realize was by writing these books and developing my coaching programs, because I have a curriculum for transformation, is I was walking the journey, and on the back end of each phase, I was able to turn around and say, this is the process of transformation. I'm very clear that I understand the process of transformation and I can support someone through it. And so alchemizing judgment is much about that. And the documentary is my own journey, but also really explains what alchemizing judgment is and how someone can do that.
Okay, I am sorry to take my eyes off of you, but I'm preparing something here because I want to ask about this, because this is something I found, and it's very transparent. Yeah. And I mean, really transparent. You decided to start every 13th, and this is what I found. And have you kept it up?
Yes.
Every 13th, every month, you have it on your phone, that it gives you an alarm that it's the 13th, and you take a picture. Why don't you explain this?
Yes, I'd love to. So these are monthly tracking pictures of my sobriety journey. And February 13th will be 1 year completely sober, no alcohol, no marijuana. And so that has been a huge journey for me. Yes, thank you so much. And I'm very transparent about that because it has, I was raised an achiever. I know how to get things done, right? But what we most of us arrive to is that we've achieved a lot of things, and like you said earlier, we still don't feel fulfilled, right? Or something's missing. And for me, as I grew more successful, I was clear that this was an option, that not an option, like the instruction, right? And I was hearing it, and I was slowly giving up alcohol. I was slowly giving up marijuana. And then one day, I actually started at the beginning of a Vipassana retreat, which is a 10-day silent meditation retreat. And I decided, when I went into that, was the first day of that commitment. And so I actually was like, I knew it within, I had been hearing it within, you're done with that. You're done with that. You don't need that anymore. And it was actually, I used to make up, I'm definitely an advocate for marijuana for those that it serves, especially medically or with, mental conditions and everything. And that I was using it, I started using it as a crutch. At first it was about anxiety, then it was about creativity. And then I just knew I didn't need it anymore. And so I honored hearing that within, and I let that go. And because I was starting to get that a cloudy mind. And I knew that in order to reach the level of service and commitment and success that I knew I was going to be going for and that I'm committed to, I didn't need any inhibitors, any. And so I just feel so good about that. I'm so happy. And I personally feel like really honored in many ways to have inspired a lot of people's sobriety journey, or to inspire a much more open conversation about it. On those posts, I get hundreds of comments of me too, or, oh my gosh, I want to do that. And so it's just been, for myself, it's been the best year of my life. It had clearing those two substances has cleared my entire path towards everything I could ever wish or hope or pray or ask for or be committed to creating. And I just, gosh, I really can't talk about it enough. So you're gonna have to stop me.
Well, no, I'm enjoying the conversation because in truth, a lot of the people, again, that love the Service Hero Show, that show up one way or another, they're one way or another also in a life journey. And we have these moments in time where we have those forks in the road where we can make a decision, and it's that power to choose. And you talk about a lot of this too in everything that I was reading about you, and I think it might even be here about in regards to the guide back to love. Okay, so we're on our road, and here we've got these choices to make, and we can really dive deep into ourselves and we can learn, we can really go and do that work, but it's not necessarily going to be as easy sometimes. That's where you need someone to help you navigate it.
Yes.
Yet when you do that, again, it goes back to the giving up and giving up book, where you then create that space to be able to go and find that life that you want. And the fact that you've been not only teaching it, not only coaching it, but actually doing it transparent, I can see why people are absolutely so excited about it. And I am sure there are going to be many here saying, man, I needed this right now more than ever, because there's a lot of people suffering that because of a pandemic and a shut-in situation throughout the world that continues, and then it release and unrelease. Okay, now you never know. I mean, you never know if a vendor is going to be open. You never know what nowadays, and so there's a lot of people that are just not coping with it in a healthy manner.
Yes. And there's something, if it's okay with you, I'd love to extend an offer to your listeners, because when in March and last year, April, that was very clear to me. And it made a lot of sense for me in my life that all of a sudden I was like, this is what I've been preparing for, to be emotionally intelligent enough to handle such collective disruption, right?
Right.
And I'm very aware that that's not how everybody reacted, right? This was very a lot of upheaval for people. This was uprooting for people. And so I started to extend my course, the 8 Pillars of Empowerment, the Unleashed course, on my website. It's on the front page of my website. And with the code AWAKEN, people, it's usually a $9.97 course. For as long as we feel like we're in this situation, I am keeping that course at $97. So you can go enter the code AWAKEN on that at checkout and save $900 on the course, because it's a beautiful 8-module course that would walk someone through. The first step is awakening, right? And as I'm sure you know, most people's awakenings are very traumatic experiences, right?
Yes.
Mine was divorce. Yes. For some people, it's illness or death of a loved one, a near-death experience, right? And so we all reach that awakening. And I do believe that this pandemic has been an awakening experience for so many people. And so I want to offer that to anybody who's interested in it, because I just think it's such a powerful tool to move through this situation powerfully.
I appreciate that. And absolutely.
Thank you.
You're more than welcome. And the, that's a service hero trait, being here, being prepared, preparing ourselves, listening to what it is that we're being told to do when we want to put it on the back burner, but no, front burner. And I can see why. I can actually see why it is that it was so important. And so then now you've got the books, you've got the coaching, you've got all of the education. And now I'm going to bring up a little clip, just a little one, that's going to introduce one other area.
Hi, I'm Abigail Gazda, host of the Hearts Unleashed podcast, a personal and professional development podcast inspiring you to live your life with full freedom, power, and self-expression. To tune into the Hearts Unleashed podcast, head over to iTunes, Spotify, or heartsunleashed.com.
Hearts Unleashed. I love that image too. What powerful. Your imagery and your videos, everything is just so powerful. And Hearts Unleashed. Mm-hmm. Let's go into that. I was having some fun, and it looks like you have highlights. You do like short little clips, 15 minutes or so, and then you have longer segments. Yeah. Let's talk about that.
Yes. And I feel really compelled to say this is like hands down the best interview I've ever been a part of.
Oh, well, thank you.
I'm just so grateful because thank you for sharing some of the work that I do and especially those videos. We pour our hearts into those. And so I'm really grateful. So thank you for that. And I'm also really grateful for the opportunity to share the podcast because it's so powerful. And you're right. We have the 15-minute fill-ups that go out on Mondays, and then which actually we're in our season break and we launch on February 28th. But usually our 15-minute fill-ups, because we're going into season 4, by the way. I know that a lot of people wait till any show or podcast has multiple seasons so that it's binge-worthy. It is totally binge-worthy. So for the binge-worthy people, that's what's available. And so we're going into season 4, and every Monday we launch a 15-minute fill-up. That's usually just me. And what the content of those are is a lot of the work that I do with clients, not talking about the client, but about the human condition, right? Talking about the things that we go through and ways that you can tangibly, like tools and insights that you can tangibly take into your life right after that episode. And then my Friday fill-ups are interviews with leaders, which, by the way, I'd love to have you on there. Let's make that official here, right now.
Thank you. Yeah, let's do it. It's fun.
So I interview hearts who are living, or people who are living their heart unleashed in order to inspire others to do the same. And I love connecting with people from different industries because if you listen to enough of them, we realize that living your heart unleashed has nothing to do with doing it right or being a certain way. It's being yourself. And that's the goal. That's the commitment, is discovering who you are and unleashing your gift in the world.
I love that. I love that. And it's interesting I love the thought. I had never thought of it that way. Binge worthy. That's cool. Yeah, I'm gonna have to, I hope you don't mind if I borrow that.
Yeah.
Because this show actually, I just figured it out too, that we're technically, I guess, in our 4th season now. Mm-hmm. And it all started as a challenge for content for the nonprofit and for the buddies. Yes. And to share inspiring stories so that they wanted to keep showing up for their lives and honoring people that are doing really great work out in the world. And love is a big piece of everything right now. It's like focus. And I want to ask you this. It's something that I've been thinking about a lot, because so many people have been coming to me one way or another. And I'll tell you, 2 books in the mail, guys, that's pretty much what I call divine, a miracle, whatever you want to say. Because it just was I didn't make the connection right off the bat. And so I'm thinking, and I even checked my social media. I'm like, is she even a friend? and that even made it more exciting. It was like, no, this is so cool. And so now you are, definitely. And yet what I am finding, and I'd love to know if this is what you're finding too, with all the people that you're interviewing, is that many right now are feeling called to work with love.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. There's I have to sometimes teach people, I did in the beginning of my coaching, that coaches, at least the work that I do, is not about fixing or changing or like some improvement, let's say, right? There's natural healing work that there is to do, but this is about, again, peeling back, unbecoming the things that we've been taught to be, to become our fullest self and share our gifts, right? And so I just think that that's so important, because as far as divine order goes, like, I just think it's hilarious because you're doing the work that you're out there doing. And I actually wanted to say that I saw you speak in LA at like a 2,000 person event. And so I think you were like whisked away afterwards or something, but it was in LA, and I just, I remember hearing about Chemo Buddies, and I just thought, like, I don't know if I could say damn on here, but damn, that's what I thought.
Yeah, that's family friendly. We can do that.
Yeah, good. It's just like, wow, she is out there making these connections, and like such a heart of service. And that's what it looks like. That's what it takes, is putting anything else to the side. Because I imagine you've probably come against your own conversations about, who am I to do this? Or,
Oh yeah. In fact, here is one of your quotes that I'm going to bring up. And it is not so much, if it's complicated, your ego is involved. And I will say that the conversation that, I kept having, because in the very beginning, and this is the funny thing here, and you'll get this, is that I used to, here, this program is pretty much ran online. I had no social media. I thought you had to buy hashtags. I didn't have, Twitter was a bird. Because I had been underground. So I literally did not have any footprint out there. And now when I'm feeling, okay, this is the way we're supposed to go. And the doctor that's in that video is my doctor. So as I'm doing the due diligence and saying, well, what about this and that? And it's like, okay, well, and so as we're troubleshooting the whole concept of what would really work, and then it came so strong. And when it does, it's like, okay, here we go.
Yeah. That's
get
amazing.
Ready. And the thing about it, and I love what you're saying about being, is that the idea of how is like, okay, once it was really embraced, it didn't matter how people present themselves, put the intention out there, what, like now it's to a point where I'll just verbalize it. And it's like, oh, this is so much fun because I know it works. right?
Yes. I was just raising the roof to that because it's so true. And that's, I mean, if we know that the power that we actually have, we could use it more intentionally and to create a powerful life, an impactful life.
Impactful and happy, joyful, let's say joyful, joyful life. And again, guys, you need to go check out her website and look at her socks. Oh my goodness, I love that. But I saved that for you guys to go do some homework. Go check out her website because yes, you are a rock star in every way, Helene Wilson, and absolutely love you, my buddy. And so, yes, thankful for the community because we have an amazing group, community that when and one of the things too that I love about the ontological coaching is that it talks about, in the research, it talks about the individual, the business, or the community, that this whole sense of being can actually work within a community. And as I was thinking about it and washing what we're doing in our community through it, I'm thinking, oh yeah, I see it. And how often do you work with businesses and communities, or is most of your work with individuals?
I would say that it varies. I definitely do. I do talks, and I usually work with the leaders of communities to establish the being, right? And I'll actually just give the example from my own company, Hearts Unleashed, is every year we have an annual launch weekend. And of course, the ladies come from all over. What's that?
You had that in San Clemente, right?
Yes, we did.
Okay, explain it, because that fun. Looks like fun. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and the ladies love coming to California, so we have a good time. And we go to eat and we do that, and then we work on the business. But the very first order of business is an intention setting ceremony. So we start with the being. We talk about our intentions for the year, our intentions for our impact, our intentions for, I love that quote so much. And so we start with our intentions and our, the legacy. So we check in. We always check back in with the core of the energy that we bring into the world, right? So if I were to work with a business or a community or a leader, I work with lots of leaders of big teams that they want to be the leader they are and create other leaders, not followers, right? I know that quote, I don't know who said it, but leaders create leaders, not followers, right? And so it's really about empowering everybody. And it always starts with being. The doing becomes obvious. And we know what to do, but it's who we're going to be.
Right. Okay. I've been writing a few things here, and I have to just say, this is too cute. I have to at least say it. Who the heck I am again? Who do I think who in the heck am I again? Or something, where you're like, okay, do I have to do this again? The discovery, who in the heck? That's what I got out of that. I just thought, who in the heck? And that goes back down to, and if we're feeling that who in the heck kind of thing right now, at the beginning of 2021, after coming out of 2020, and intention. I love that word. We've been doing an intention project and asking people what their word is for 2021. I saw that you actually have, that you posted somewhere that you had for 2019, 2020. So what's your 2021 word?
Devotion.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I like that.
And I'll give a tip to anybody who's considering it. As I say, the word, you don't pick the word picks you. And so if you kind of drop into silence and you listen within, I was asking for the word and then it came through and I was like, oh, and so I probably heard that guidance but January 4th or 5th. And I will tell you, it's been only, 15 days and that word is delivering. It is sure delivering, the invitation for devotion. And I just I follow that path and I follow that guidance as much as possible.
So as we are getting ready to button this up and tie it together with a beautiful bow, because this is just so much fun. First of all, guys, go to her website and check it out. Go look at the socks and then put in the comments, what did you think of them? They're so cute. And then what is it that you see for 2021 for Abigail? I mean, what should we be watching for service hero Abigail now?
Thank you. You know, part of that intention setting ceremony, the word that kept coming, because our business is thriving, and the what to look out for is just big. The word was big, and it was just, I don't know what's coming. This is the first time in my life that I'm like, I don't know, and I think I'm okay not knowing. I'm willing to follow, because the people are rolling in, the service, the opportunities for service are rolling in, and it's just really profound, and I'm grateful. And so the work there is to do is to expand my capacity for more, but what there is, who the heck knows?
I love it. You know, well, that goes with the devotion. And yes, it goes with the devotion, and big, and being devoted to the process and what it is that you're doing. And absolutely, you are amazing and fun and a bright, shiny light of energy that we need in the world. And thank you, Abigail, for being the service hero that you are, and showing up today and answering the call, because the books that and guys, buddies, we're going to do something cool with these books. We're going to do something really, really cool. I want to say thank you. Oh, and also remember, guys, the offer, as long as this thing is going on out there, they call a pandemic or COVID or whatever, that she is going to have the reduced rates for those that see that the pillars would be helpful for them in their lives. Because right now, this is a chance for us. I have so much excitement about 2021. I really do. And I'm excited to see how it's all going to, I see each day as that gift that it is, and showing up to it, ready to do it, get it going. So thank you so very much for being here. And Carol had mentioned it before, and if you want to, in the comments, please do put all of your contact information, and so that people can get a hold of Abigail. And it's AbigailGazda.com, right?
Gazda.
That's from Chicago. And in fact, I love your image here. It's so cute, so cute.
Thank you.
The little
my sister designed that.
Oh, it's so cute. Well done, sister. Well done.
She's amazing.
It catches your attention. It's real fresh and fun.
Yeah.
So follow her, and thank you for everything that you've shared with us today. I have learned so much, been well fed, and excited. So everybody, be here on Wednesday, the 20th, because we have Cheryl Snap Connor, one of the 5 coaches that I won the Next Impactor. The only one of the 5 I haven't had her own individual show. She is finally coming on Wednesday. So I'm excited about that show. Come and support Cheryl being a service hero. And thank you, Abigail, for being the service hero that you are.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here.
You're welcome. Okay, guys, make it an amazing Monday. Amazing. And buddies, in the group tonight, come ready. I did all my clipping. I'm ready for my vision board. We've been having some fun. We have fun. Bye, everyone.
I can tell. Bye. Thank you.